The United States debt is constantly going up, reaching $35 trillion as of writing this. But who exactly is spending all of that money, and where's it going? To understand this, it's important to explore the structure of the national debt and the various entities involved in allocation and spending of this massive sum. The U.S. national debt is divided into two main categories: public debt and intragovernmental debt. Public debt comprises about 75% of the total debt, or around 25 trillion US dollars. It includes treasury securities held by private investors, foreign governments, and corporations, and as of 2024, around 30% of the public debt is held by foreign entities, with Japan and China being the largest holders. The second category, or intergovernmental debt, makes up the remaining roughly 25%. Approximately $8 to $9 trillion. This debt is owed to various federal government trust funds. In essence, the government owes itself, like Social Security and Medicare, which use surplus funds to purchase Treasury securities. To understand more about who owns U.S. debt, you can watch my video on that linked here. But with that intro out of the way, who's actually spending the money? The national debt isn't itself directly spent. Rather, it's a result from government spending that exceeds the revenue the US government brings in. The actual allocation of borrowed funds involves various federal agencies and programs, broken down into specific spending categories. The first category being federal government agencies. If we look at the last full year of data, 2023, the US federal government spent approximately $6.4 trillion, of which a significant portion was funded through debt. Federal agencies like the Department of Defense and Health and Human Services are major spenders. For example, defense spending accounted for $877 billion of that, or 13.7% of total federal outlays. HHS, which administers programs like Medicare and Medicaid, spent approximately $1.6 trillion, representing around 25% of federal spending. The second group spending this debt are social programs. Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid are among the largest beneficiaries of government spending. Social Security alone accounts for approximately $1.2 trillion annually, or around 19% of total federal spending. Medicare and Medicaid together represent about $1.3 trillion, or 20% of total spending. These programs are essential for providing financial support in healthcare to millions of Americans, particularly elderly and low-income families. The third group is interest payments on previous debts. A growing portion of the federal budget is dedicated to paying interest on its previous debts. In 2023, interest payments alone accounted for approximately $661 billion, or around 10% of total federal spending, and this number is only going to go up as more and more debt is serviced. This figure is expected to rise drastically as interest rates increase as well, further straining the national budget. Other big spenders to consider are infrastructure and defense. Besides defense spending, which is already significant, infrastructure investments are another key area where that debt is spent. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, passed in 2021, allocated $1.2 trillion over several years, with $550 billion dedicated to new investments in transportation, broadband, and utilities. In 2023, infrastructure spending was about $250 billion, representing roughly 3.9% of total federal spending. So, to conclude, the U.S. national debt, currently around $35 trillion, is a critical tool for funding a wide array of government programs and services. But it seems to be getting out of hand, and everyone's starting to wonder whether the U.S. will ever pay it back. The spending of this debt is managed by a variety of federal agencies and institutions allocated to social programs, defense, infrastructure, and research. So, what do you think is going to happen to the US federal debt? Will the country be able to pay it back, or will it just keep getting worse?